Okay. Vlada, campus director at LSC, is here.
Yep. Hi, Yi. I'm here.
Then I guess this is everyone.
I don't think Srijan is here yet.
Of course he's late. Where could he be this time?
Guys! Don't you have the graduation ceremony to host?
Well, we should be starting soon.
This is still not here.
I think he just joined the call.
So, are you ready to start?
Always. Let's do it.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the graduation. So I'm Plata, as you probably already know from the sketch. I am campus director for LCC International University campus this semester, and I'm so glad to see you all here.
And I am Srijan Bonik from BRAC University Bangladesh campus director there. And Vlada and I would be the host for tonight of the show. And we're really thrilled to have you all here in the graduation ceremony of the Millennium Fellowship's class of 21.
We are really honored to be here with all of you today to celebrate all this amazing, wonderful things that we have learned together throughout all these past months. And actually, there are more than 3,000 of you who registered to join us live today. So thank you so much for doing so. And thank you so much for joining right now. And before we actually dive into the show, for the final time, for the last one, let's all introduce ourselves in the chat box as you used to do on the global webinars and CDG hours and things like that. So please introduce where you're from, your name, your university. We really want to, read a few as the time comes up.
Yep, awesome. And I can see already 1,500 participants have joined in, which is huge. And we are so excited to be here with all of you. And as you all get connected with each other, Vlada, why don't we start the show in a different way rather than us just talking? Because I hear we have loads of fellows with many amazing hidden talents here.
That's true, Srijang. But actually, guys, while on the talking point, if you are interested in hearing us talk about social impact and have all kinds of interviews with amazing people, check out our podcast that is presented by Millennium Fellowship, Social Impact Stories with Srijang and Vlada. It's available on Anchor, a few other platforms, and you can also follow us on Instagram, Social Impact Podcast, if anything. But now, actually, to the main piece. So here us joining today is Srina Shretra, current fellow from Kathmandu University in Nepal, and she will kick off this great ceremony with a creative piece. So I'm passing it on to you.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to be here. Firstly, congratulating you all for graduating. It's such an honor to be performing for you guys, and I'm super excited for it. So today I'll be singing a Nepali piece for you guys, which is called Jinkiri. Jinkiri symbolizes peace, hope, and light. So it can never be better to show this in the Millennium Fellowship graduation. So super excited and hope you guys like it. जाने po kata pauna yahan ke chara chhadi jao timi rama. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great event ahead.
Wow, Strana, just amazing. I mean, a song about hope and light. Thank you so much for this such an inspiring and so soothing song. And I believe everyone loved it. I can already see the chat is just exploding with praising you from around the whole world and talking about hope. Like, this is a very important message to us as the Millennium Fellows itself, because hope is being able to see that there is light despite of all the darkness. And this is something that we all must hold close to our heart for keeping us forward with our social impact journeys. Because we, as student leaders, we do understand that there will be lots of obstacles, a lot of problems that we're going to face. But as long as we're working passionately for the things we care about, and we have that hope in our heart, we can and we will achieve the thing that we want to do and create a positive impact in the whole world. And on this note, I'm going to pass it on to someone very special to us, a person who dedicated his whole life in commitment in helping young people like us to own our voices and power to make a difference. This is a person who started a student movement, which is now the Millennium Campus Network. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Executive Director of MCN, Sam Baker.
Thank you, Srijan. Thank you, Vlada. Uh, Millennium Fellows, MCN members, congratulations. My name is Sam Vagar. I'm the executive director of MCN, he, him, from Boston, Massachusetts. It is a massive honor to be with you. You are an extraordinary class of leaders. We welcome thousands of Millennium Fellows, MCN members, and more colleagues here today and celebrate and affirm each of you. Undergraduates making the Sustainable Development Goals reality. I want to touch on three themes with you: dignity, community, and partnership. First, on dignity. The Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, are our commitment to ourselves, our communities, and each other, making real the preamble of the United Nations. I want to share my favorite line of that preamble with all of you. The UN exists, quote, to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person. Again, to, quote, reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person. Just this morning, a Millennium Fellow wrote to me, you know who you are, and shared that being a fellow, quote, changed me permanently. It boosted my inner confidence. I have looked at many people's profiles worldwide and understand that we all have value. Thank you for sharing that message with me. We all have value. We all have value. If any time in the world, this time with the global pandemic should crystallize for us this simple truth: no nation and no person is an island. We exist together and we each matter. And in that spirit, I also want to acknowledge that so many of us have lost loved ones in this time. Our community has lost two members this year: Kiza at the University of Nairobi in Kenya and Jerry at Lynn University in the US. Kiza was planning to launch her Millennium Fellowship in September, and Jerry led the Social Impact Lab at Lynn and advised us on our work at MCN. Please join me in a moment of silence and reflection to remember these two leaders and the many others in our lives who have shaped our journeys. Thank you. Millennium Fellows and MCN members, as we acknowledge those who shape us, I also want to speak to what you have built as a community. This year, you are 2,000 plus strong at 136 universities in 30 nations. For the past 4 months, you have dedicated over 200,000 hours to make a difference locally. You are leading with our core values at MCN: empathy, humility, and inclusion, and you have built partnerships in community with grassroots organizations, with leaders, professors, classmates to tackle food insecurity through community farming, to tackle COVID-19 misinformation, and to spotlight racial inequities in healthcare, among a number of initiatives. Thank you. Thank you as well to the more than 250 campus directors who have given so much time to build these 136 cohorts around the world. Thank you to Team MCN, to Noha, Abigail, James, Simran, Ganesh, Ohani. Thank you to the faculty and staff and community partners who advise and support Millennium Fellows. Fellows, members, I want to invite you. Join me in the chat box right now in shouting out and thanking your campus directors, Team MCN, and all the other leaders who have made your fellowship journey possible. Please join me in thanking all of them right now in the chat box. That is incredible to see. Thank you all for sharing in that gratitude. You are not islands, you are bridges. You are connecting the world to a place of dignity. We ask that you also keep these bridges open to the next generation that follows you. More than 7,500 young leaders have already applied for the Millennium Fellowship class of 2022. If you will be an undergraduate next August to December, you can apply again now at millenniumfellows.org to be a Millennium Fellow, to be a campus director for this coming year. Share millenniumfellows.org with classmates and friends and help build next year's class. After you formally complete our year together on November 30th, we also invite you to become active MCN alumni, with new MCN alumni services launching this January, including career coaching and more. Alumni are integral to the success of this program and community, serving on admissions committees as mentors for cohorts and supporting our work. So, if you are in to be active in our alumni community, I want you to join me in the chat box now and write 2 simple words. I'm in. Those 2 simple words, I'm in. That right there, what you're seeing in the chat box to everyone tuning in, that's a movement. That is a movement. And I'm in too. I'm with each and every one of you. Thank you. I also acknowledge that partners are on with us today, from our board members to supporters that make our work possible. A special thank you to the Elevate Prize Foundation for its work championing social entrepreneurs and partnership to make this graduation possible for us, and to our advisor, Paul Polman, whose book, Net Positive, inspires new promise for the SDGs. Our biggest thank you at MCN is to our longstanding partner. MCN and the United Nations Academic Impact present the Millennium Fellowship together. The United Nations Academic Impact includes over 1,500 academic institutions that serve as members, each advancing UN goals. But what makes UNAI most special to me is its team. To Rob, Omar, Kosuke, and so many more that make the Millennium Fellowship and this partnership what it is, thank you. From spotlighting Millennium Fellows in publications to joining in for webinars to share advice, thank you. This global community exists with your partnership. I am so grateful and proud to hand over the mic to Omar Hernandez of the United Nations Academic Impact. Welcome, Omar.
Thank you very much to Sam, Noha, and all the MCN team for the kind invitation. And of course, my warmest congratulations to all Millennium Fellows all around the world. And my appreciation to those joining us from very distant parts of the world, because of the inconvenient time zone and the time difference. You are all here with us. And it's a privilege for me, not only because I work with the UN Academic Impact, but also because I used to work as a university professor back in my home country for over 15 years. I am from Venezuela, a country in South America, and I'm privileged to have a very wide experience working with students and youth, not only as a professor, but also in the different capacities within the UN system. I work with UNODC, the UN Office on Drugs and Crime, then the UN Climate Change Secretariat, and now with the UN Academic Impact since 2018, first as a consultant and now as a public information officer. And it's a distinct honor to be able to connect with universities and colleges all around the world, fostering not only the goals and principles of the United Nations, but also the fundamental principles of UNAI, particularly that related to sustainability. And as I would like to emphasize the fact that when you read the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, before actually outlining and listing all the SDGs, the paragraph that precedes that list, the explanation actually refers very concrete to academia. It makes a very concrete and express reference to academia. And academia, we understand academia in the UN Academic Impact, not only as the institution itself, not only the staff of the universities, of course, the lecturers and professors and researchers and scientists, but also students, both on the undergraduate and graduate level. Students are a huge component of universities, and the innovation, the ideas, the passion, the emotions that students have, and all this commitment towards sustainability that we have never seen before, and it is now more relevant than ever before, is critical and is of fundamental value for the United Nations. We need more of your work and your ideas that you need from us. So we kindly ask everybody here to join this journey with the United Nations. And of course, if you read the UN Charter, it clearly states that we are aiming to foster international cooperation, solidarity, not for the sake of it, but to actually solve international problems. This is outlined as such in the UN Charter that Sam already referred to. So we need to come together, and despite our existing differences from the political side, economic differences, cultural differences, and so on, in the very end, we are all global citizens. And despite where we are, what are our beliefs, at the end, we have common problems. We have global problems, and then those problems and challenges require demand from all of us, common shared solutions. So if we work together, and I want to emphasize that the very last one of the SDGs, the Alliance for the Goals, partnerships for the goals, is a key that is somehow forgotten from the discourse, but the idea behind the actual implementation, particularly the decade of action, let us not forget that since last year we are in the decade of action for the SDGs. The time to discuss, the time to debate, the time to theorize about the SDGs, that time has passed. We are now very few years ahead. 2030, we are very close to the deadline, and with all this ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, with all the challenges and devastating consequences, particularly the socioeconomic ones all around the world, especially in the developing world, it is critical, it is urgent that we come together to actually implement actions. And I've always been amazed with all the wonderful projects that the Millennium Fellows not only come up, but also implement and overseeing in the field, working with civil society, working with universities, working with a number of groups and stakeholders. So this is what the SDGs are all about. The SDGs are not the sole responsibility of member states of the United Nations. It is our duty. It is our responsibility. We have to share our knowledge. We have to share our expertise. And we have to put together all the things that we do and all the things that we know for the common good. So the idea behind the university, imagine the power that the universities have with all this knowledge, all this expertise, all these connections, relationships with a wide range of stakeholders, and imagine the power of youth. So the power lies on your hands So you cannot wait, and you don't have to wait for governments or for any other institution to tell you what you have to do. The idea is that, and we just saw it during the COP26 in Glasgow. This is just one very recent example. And if it's not because of the power, the pressure from youth, probably the outcome of COP23 wouldn't be the one that we have right now. And it is a good outcome, but not the best possible outcome. There's much more that needs to be done, not only on climate change, but about the elimination of poverty. Because while we are here in this graduation ceremony, many people are starving, many people are fleeing their home countries, many people do not have shelter, many people do not have access to the minimum medical standards and services. So we have to fight for them. We have to fight for those who have not have the voice, for those who are not heard, for those who are not seen, for those who are forgotten, because the idea behind the SDGs is that we cannot leave anyone behind. So once again, my warm congratulations from the United Nations headquarters in New York to all of you around the world. You are making a difference, you can make the difference, and you are the generation that is going to change the world for good. And I thank you very much. And with that, I would like to give the floor to the president of the Lebanese American University. Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you, Omar. I hope you can hear me well. I'm Dr. Michel Mawad. I'm speaking to you from Beirut, Lebanon. First, I want to thank Srijnan and Vladislava for introducing everybody in this program. I also I enjoyed the song by Strena and the music, celebrating hope, peace, and light, which we all need everywhere in the world, especially in this part of the world. And I also want to thank Sam Weger, for his really inspiring words that he gave to the Millennium Fellows and to all of us. Thank you, Sam. So dear Millennium Fellows and friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a pleasure and a privilege of mine to be able to address you on this auspicious occasion. For I firmly believe that you do represent as fellows a bright spot and a ray of hope for the world. What you stand for is so crucial for our societies and our social order, which is currently deeply troubled by multiple problems, not the least of them the pandemic, and problems of all kinds. You yourself represent social awareness, you represent engagement, you represent commitment, proactive commitment, and diversity, but into a unity and a sense of purpose, which we so much need and will so much miss today. Our belief in these core values that you represent and you work for makes us, as a university in a small country like Lebanon, in the troubled region like the Middle East, makes us, Lebanese American University, proud, truly proud to be engaged with the Millennium Fellow Program, which is made possible through a partnership between Millennium Campus Network, or MCN, and the United Nations Academic Impact, or UNAI. This inclusive platform is an enabler for our students to be aware and to be engaged and to be connected with like-minded, passionate student leaders who are committed to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. Our university's commitment, LAU's commitment to this leadership program is solid, and our outreach and civic engagement department continues to provide support for the students, and we're proud in doing so. Dear fellows, the fact that we are joined for this Millennium Global Graduation Ceremony by Millennium Fellows at Harvard, Northeastern, University of Delhi, University of Western Cape, UCL, University of Pennsylvania, and others, to name a few, is truly a testimony to the global impact of this program. and its ability to mobilize talent behind a worthy universal cause whose pursuit is truly a pressing priority for all of us. What you are doing will be increasingly recognized as one of the most meaningful initiatives, bringing together exceptional individuals like you, individuals who want to work in unison for an exceptional cause. Dear fellows, you embody individually and collectively, you embody leadership in its finest manifestation at the darkest hour of humanity. You embody responsibility in its full meaning and the will. You have the will to work together across countries and continents for the public good. This is a role model that is going to be hard to match for a long time to come. Indeed, putting your program together and managing it so successfully is in it by itself a feat, truly a feat that deserves every commendation. I salute you on behalf of our university, and being a physician myself, I salute you for all the good things you do. I salute each and every one of you for the amazing work that you do. I wish you from the bottom of my heart continued success, and I want to assure you that our university, LAU, is fully committed to the ambitious project you represent and is fully determined to stay the cause together with you. My full congratulations and my deepest admirations, my dear fellows, and thank you.
Thank you so much. I think everyone really enjoyed everyone's speeches in the chat. Thank you all so much for interacting and letting us know that, what you're feeling right now. That's very important. So I would like to say big thank you to Sam. I'd like to say big thank you to Omar, and big thank you to President Mawed from Lebanese American University for all your great, powerful speeches. And I think as Millennium Fellows, we're all understanding now, and this is such a great reminder that we can and we will make amazing and powerful changes. I think that's just so wonderful for us to know, right? So yeah, everyone is thinking, everyone is interacting. We're very much glad to see that. Thank you. And also do not forget to follow Sam Vagger and United Nations Academic Impact on social media at Sam Vagger and at Impact UN. And now we would like to pass it on to the Vice Chancellor at the University of Nairobi. Please go on.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to participate in this graduation. Sam Faga, the Executive Director, Millennium Campus Network. This is a great job. I want to acknowledge all distinguished guests here, including the President Mawad of Lebanese American University, and all other distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I greet you all. I'm Professor Kiamagitahi, the Vice Chancellor, University of Nairobi, Kenya. University of Nairobi is the largest university in Kenya. I take this opportunity to congratulate over 2,000 plus MCN Fellows graduating today after 3 months of rigorous training. Congratulations. The University of Nairobi is extremely delighted to partner with the Millennium Campus Network, MCN, a Boston-based global nonprofit organization that trains 21st century social impact leaders. The MCN has supported our students as young leaders to find their voice and own their power for social impact on campus in their communities. I am informed by our own Dean of Students, Mr. Johnson Kenywa, that the MCN Fellowship Program attracted over 700 applicants from the University of Nairobi. Out of the 25,000 applicants globally, who were drawn from 136 universities distributed in about 30 nations. Thus, the University of Nairobi this year contributed the highest number of applicants in this program. This is incredible. As a university, we feel very, very honored. I'm happy that out of those 700 applicants, 10% were selected to join the MCN Leadership Academy training this year. That is 70 fellows. And therefore, this graduation is a combination of a rigorous and impactful training. The training has helped build the skills and the experiences of our students and solidified their career paths through innovation and critical thinking on a global scale. It has helped students, leaders to grow and connect with other fellows from across the world. Armed with this knowledge and skills, I have no doubt that the students are ready to transform their students' organizations as well as their communities where they come from. Going forward, ladies and gentlemen, I would like the MCN to consider establishing the MCN Leadership Academies in campuses for the MCN alumni to mentor upcoming fellows. And I already observed that some already called upon those who want to be in, and many already indicated that they want to be in as part of this large family of alumni. As University of Nairobi, we are ready to partner and pioneer in such an academy. I wish all the MCN fellows all the best as they graduate today. Thank you very much for listening to me, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor Kiyama. And wow, amazing. The proposal that you gave the MCN Leadership Academy. From my side, yes, that would be so much amazing if we could have that. And yep, we're all in, Sam. I hope Sam hears it and would be executing it soon. So thank you so much for such a powerful message, Vice Chancellor, and joining in here to encourage all the Millennium Fellows from around the whole world. So this is really, truly inspiring for all of us. Vlada, would you like to take on?
Yes, indeed. So again, big thank you for joining us and saying, such inspiring, I think, words to everyone in here. I mean, from the chat, everyone just loves it. So thank you all so much. And now, actually, we are grateful to feature MCN's partner, the Elevate Prize Foundation, and its Executive Director, Carolina Garcia Jerem. So the Elevate Prize Foundation shares MCN's belief in the power of people to change the world and provides funding, marketing advice, and more to leading social entrepreneurs each year. And thank you to the Elevate for supporting MCN and helping make this movement possible. So Carolina, welcome.
Good morning. It's such an honor to be here with all of you. First of all, congratulations, such an incredible accomplishment all of you have realized today. We had Joe Deitch and I, who's the founder of Elevate Prize, and I the great pleasure of meeting Sam some years ago and following his journey and building this incredible network for young people and young leaders like all of you to give you a pathway and a pipeline toward becoming the best versions of your leadership selves and helping to make this world better. We at Elevate have this vision of shining a big, bright spotlight on all of you and the work that you're doing in order to what we call make good famous. We're very interested in the world knowing more about all of you. And we think that with the right support and tools, we can bring much greater awareness to the work that you all are doing and use the levers that are available through social media and entertainment to allow the mainstream to understand how important the work that you all are doing. For Elevate, our primary prize is a prize designed for social entrepreneurs around the world across issue areas. I invite all of you to look at our website, elevateprize.org, to learn more about, we just announced our second cohort of winners. But more importantly for all of you, you're the future of this prize. You're the future of this organization. And we want to see all of you applying for this prize in the future, but but also to the other opportunities that we have. One in particular that I think could be really interesting that I hope to do in partnership with Sam and all of you is a project we call Elevate Giving. So look out for that in the new year, because we'd love to include you and the organizations that you're all championing around the world in that work. But we really believe in all of you, and we're so inspired by you. It's the reason we do the work that we do. We're so grateful for people like Sam in this world who are building platforms and pathways to make this work much more available and accessible for people from all corners of this earth, because as we know, philanthropy and this kind of work has oftentimes been segmented and kind of kept from so many people. So it's opportunities like this project, this program that all of you just graduated from today that are going to change that. And they're going to bring greater radical diversity to this sector, which is very much needed at all levels of leadership. I am a Latina leader of a global foundation. I'm one of very, very few in my position, and I'm very aware of how unusual and rare that is. And I dedicate a lot of my time in my life to opening doors for people like me who just come from unusual and different corners of the earth to be able to have more influence in this sector. So I applaud all of you, because you're all well on your way to having this kind of influence in the world, and Elevate Prize is here to salute you and support you in any way we can. So congratulations, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for such amazing words. And it's so good to know that there's so many more opportunities for us to engage in. That's just wonderful. I bet everyone just marked their calendars and they're on the watch out for new stuff. So that's good to know.
Well, follow us on social, that's for sure. Follow us on social media. Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear that? also do that. Marking calendars, and then also the social media. But now to Srijang, actually, he's got an important question to all of you.
Oh yeah, so we can see that almost 2,000 people are here already and live joining us, and the chat box is just exploding with thousands of messages. So we would like to take this opportunity. So just quickly write one positive word that you want to live by for your entire life of the social impact career. It can be love. It can, okay, I can already see change. Oh, amazing. Passion, belief, create, cream. Wow, amazing. So keep on spreading this positivity. I can see so much hope, empathy. Wow, this is really heartfelt. Oh my God. I'm really loving it. Like 2,000 people, 2,000 people, so many countries, so many people, such diversity, and still we're all connected with one simple goal.
Making the world a better place to live in. And now we will actually share the video of so many fellows from all around the world, their message. So please check it out.
Empathy, humility, inclusivity. These are the guiding values that have shaped our lives over the past few months. Each one of us has learned not just the power in community, but the individual power and potential we all hold to bring positive changes in our community.
I've found a tribe of people who are crazy enough to dream as big as me.
I've interacted with incredible peers, and in a way, they've helped me learn a little bit more about myself.
We know now what needs to be done. We may not know how or when, but if these incredible fellows can dare to imagine that we can shape the world and make it a better place, I have no doubt we shall succeed.
Using the SDGs as guiding frameworks, and by leveraging the networks we have created here, we can carry on boldly into the world of social impact and work to make our schools, homes, and towns better places to live in.
And at a time when the world is fundamentally changing, we have learned that when young people come together, great things do happen.
We believe now that we can see poverty in all its forms eradicated from the face of humanity.
We believe that world hunger can be tackled, and that the global communities will not have to suffer the degrading scourge of famine and undernourishment.
We know that if we work together, raise awareness, and lead impact projects, good health and well-being can be achieved.
We can raise life expectancy and make global progress against death and disease.
We wish to see every child in school and a general increase in literacy levels and quality education that is inclusive for all.
We want a gender-equal society where all forms of sexist discrimination are shunned upon.
We want clean water and affordable energy.
We believe that we can together ensure responsible consumption and production.
We want sustainable and growing economy, but not at the cost of anyone's life or environment.
We want decent work for all, wherever human is treated equally and with respect.
We believe that together we can restructure and build resilient and sustainable industries and cities, both in the developing and the developed countries.
We want to combat climate change, reduce global warming and carbon emissions. We will do our best to make this world livable for all.
We want cleaner oceans and seashores and greener lands. We believe we can save lives both above and below the oceans.
We want partnerships across countries and organizations to meet the global goals together.
And most urgently and most importantly, we want world peace and cooperation.
Each one of us has taken our first step towards achieving these goals.
We have learned together, hopefully grown together. And now we can proceed into this next phase with courage and belief.
Millennium Fellows, MCN members, and all young people joining us worldwide. As you graduate, please remember that each one of us holds the power and the potential to bring positive, lasting change. And this is not the end. This is just the beginning.
This is the beginning.
This is just the beginning. And as Omar said in his speech, we can and we will make a difference together. I'm really loving the positive support that everyone is giving us and the impacts that they're creating. And it was so nice seeing the video too. I saw so many familiar faces from the global webinars and all. I saw my campus director. I saw Shreya and a lot of people. Zara, I think I saw someone from your cohort too.
Yeah, Catherine also joined. So that was wonderful. That was indeed wonderful. And thank you all so much for, participating so much in the chat and supporting everyone and all the speeches and everything. That means so much. It's just great to see you all being so active and engaged. Okay, so now we're going to another part of the itself graduation, which is that each year MCN recognizes role models for our generation with Global Generation Awards. Award winners leverage their global platforms for social good. This year, we will hear from 3 extraordinary Global Generation Award winners who are championing youth, human rights, and public health.
We will also gain advice on how to excel in social impact career, whether you choose to work in diplomacy, nonprofits, or even private sectors. With this said, let's introduce our first award winner. And for this, I would like to welcome Himmat Bakshi from OP Zindal Global University in India.
Thank you for that, Srijan. And yeah, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everybody. My name is Himmat Bakshi, and I'm the campus director for OP Jindal Global University in India, but I'm currently based in Sri Lanka. And my project revolves around SDG 12, and it's called the Blue Alert Rating System, which is a water efficiency system to tackle the groundwater crisis in India and to counteract the unsustainable consumption of water in India. And this fellowship has been an amazing opportunity for me because I got to look at my project through different lenses, and I gained a better holistic understanding of how to tackle the problem I'm addressing. And I also thoroughly enjoyed one aspect, which was the conversation hours. I kind of made it a point to myself to attend each one, and though I unfortunately missed 2, but they gave me the chance to learn about different cultures and projects and allowed me to expand my network. So moving on, presenting this award is a humbling honor to me, particularly because both myself and the award winner were born and raised in Sri Lanka. And I have seen the incredible work she's done over the years, and she's been an inspiration for both for Sri Lankan youth and young people across the globe. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to announce the first Global Generation Award winner this year, current United Nations Youth Envoy, Ms. Jayatma Wickramanayake. So Ms. Wickramanayake was appointed as the UN Secretary General Envoy on Youth in June 2017 at the age of 26. Having represented and motivated global youth development on an international level since the age of 21. Ms. Wickramanayake has played a key role in transforming the youth development sector on a national level as well as an international level. The envoy works on expanding the youth's the youth engagement and advocacy efforts across all its pillars, and also serves as a representative of and advisor to the Secretary General of the UN. Prior to taking up her post, the envoy was instrumental in creating the movement for civic and political engagement of young people, especially for young women in Sri Lanka, named #Generation. She was the first ever Sri Lankan youth delegate to the United Nations and led process in the establishment of World Youth Skill Days. She's the youngest senior official in the UN and the first woman to hold this position as well. And she continues to inspire the younger generations as well as myself. So please join me in congratulating and welcoming Ms. Wickramanayake.
Millennium Fellow graduates, fellow young people, friends. It is such a pleasure to be joining all of you today for the Millennium Fellowship Class of 2021 graduation. My warmest congratulations to all of you on your successes thus far. I want to thank Millennium Campus Network and UN Academic Impact for inviting me to join all of you today and for driving this important leadership development program to support and nurture young people like yourselves in your sustainable development efforts. Thank you as well to the Millennium Campus Network for the very kind recognition as a Global Generation Award recipient. It is always an honor for my office to be recognized for the work that we do in fostering and supporting meaningful youth engagement in both within and outside of the United Nations. As you prepare to embark on professional careers in tackling some of the world's most important global challenges, I want to emphasize my deep-seated optimism about young people's resilience, strength, and drive as being central to the achievement of a better world for all of us. I'm sure that you're familiar with the sweeping tide of youth-led movements we have seen in recent years, from Fridays for Future to Black Lives Matter to various protests around the world. To me, the evolution of these movements points to something much bigger, a fundamental shift in the way today's young generation are using their power to bring about transformational change. For generations before us, power was something exclusive to a limited number of people, mostly white elite men in suits. It wasn't something that was shared. It was something that was held on to tightly and exercised in secrecy behind closed doors. Hierarchical, bureaucratic, formal, and institutional. But the majority of young people that I've met perceive power as something else. For them, power is the concept that is disruptive, innovative, interconnected, and entrepreneurial. Power is transparency, not secrecy. Power is fluid, not hierarchical. Power is in mobilization, not in institutionalization. It is young leaders like yourselves who will play a critical role in challenging this status quo and setting our world on track for a better, more sustainable future using your vision for power. I want to encourage all of you to keep up your very important efforts in claiming your power in this front. At the same time, I think it's also important to recognize the privilege that all of us are having here today. We have had in accessing higher education, for an example. I have no doubt that all of you will go on to do exciting and impressive things in your future professional endeavors, but be sure to support those who are in need. As you do so, the best advice that I can give is to continue also hold decision makers accountable for their promises and to advocate for more young people to be represented where decisions are being made. Putting diverse voices around the table is the only way to ensure that we do not repeat or continue to perpetuate past mistakes. As the global leaders of today and tomorrow, you are all uniquely positioned to help make this happen. To be a young person in today's rapidly changing world means that you are the expert of your own reality. It means that through positive disruption, you can challenge the status quo and change the world. The idea that young people are change makers is not just a marketing campaign. It is a fact and it is the truth. I thank you so much for having me today and I wish you all the best. My sincere congratulations once again to all of you and very best in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving such a nice message to everyone. And we aspire to be able to work on the issues you mentioned. And in the future, we will also inspire people around us to join on this journey of progress. We hope that this unwavering cooperation and dedication of all to create a better world will play an important role in achieving these goals. And congratulations again for winning this award. So now, Vlada, let's welcome our next fellow to introduce the second winner.
Of course. So now I'm actually asking to join us Andy Issa from University of California, Davis in the States. Andy, please join us. Hi.
Hello. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, Millennium Fellows. I know we're all over the world right now, but without further ado, hello, my name is Andy Issa. I am a third-year international relations major from the University of California, Davis, which is on the west coast of the United States in California. Project I worked with the Millennium Fellowship revolves around SDG 13, climate action, in which my team and I will be holding a conference in early January, addressing local climate change initiatives, in which, in my opinion, is a crucial human rights issue and one of the largest foreign policy challenges in human history, which is why my team and I are raising awareness in our area, our state, and even our country to a certain extent, to pursue environmental justice and hold our university and local councils accountable for pursuing further sustainable actions in climate action. But without further ado, the man I'm going to introduce today, Abid Shamdeen, is someone who has done invaluable work alongside his wife, Nadia Murad, with Nadia's initiative. For the past 6 years, he has advocated for victims of the Yazidi genocide and has managed projects that have brought aid and assistance to internally displaced Yazidis in Iraq. I personally am truly grateful for his work because it does touch me and my family personally. My mother was born and raised in Mosul, Iraq, and my father was born in Baghdad and had to migrate to Kuwait. They both are part of a small minority in Iraq called the Chaldeans, a small Catholic minority part of Syria and Iraq. And they had to leave their country in the 90s due to the Gulf War. And I was blessed enough to be born in a country in the United States without the strife and hardships that people that are still in Iraq currently face. And that is why I'm truly honored, really, truly honored to introduce Mr. Shamdeen, because if my parents had not left Iraq, he probably would have been helping them in their countless struggles against the Islamic State or current struggles today. And that is why I would like to personally, from the bottom of my heart, thank him again for all his work in making Iraq a better place and for assisting those who are not able to help themselves. Millennium Fellows, please help me in congratulating Abid Shamdeen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andy. I really appreciate the introduction. And I'm sorry, like my family, my community, your family had to leave Iraq because of this history of persecution against minorities in that region. I'm grateful for this opportunity to join all of you today. I am incredibly honored to be named one of this year's Global Generation Award winners, and even more honored to be able to speak to all of you here today at your graduation. You who at so young an age have recognized the need for change, have stepped outside yourself to pay attention to the problems and injustices of the world, and instead of shrugging them off, are using your voice and your platforms to advocate for marginalized communities and insist upon change. Growing up as a Yazidi in Iraq, I know firsthand what it is like to be discriminated against, to be ostracized solely because of my and my family's religious beliefs. Slurs, slander, conspiracy theories abounded. The history of persecution, of individuals who looked the other way, while my community was marginalized and abused, helped provide the fuel for what would become ISIS's campaign of terror against Yazidis. The longer we go without speaking up for one another, the easier it is to justify violence and discrimination against the other. bearing witness to the genocide and campaign of sexual violence that my people suffered was the catalyst for my activism. I could not allow my community to continue to suffer in silence, but we, the victims of violence and discrimination, cannot stand alone. It may sometimes feel overwhelming when we recognize the many challenges facing our world today. The list can seem never-ending. Climate change, conflict-related sexual violence, racial discrimination, religious discrimination, and community displacement, among others. It would be easy to focus on the darkness, but as my journey into advocacy has continued, I have come to realize the power of collective voice to enact change, the power of that voice to shine a light on injustice, to insist that the world cannot and will not continue this way. You are those voices. You are those lights in the darkness. We need your generation. We need you to insist that the world can be, should be, and will be a better place. Like many of you, I sometimes find myself frustrated with the inaction of our world leadership, and rightly so. Our challenge is to channel that frustration, to raise our voices, to demand action, to remake the world into a better, kinder, safer, and more accepting place for us all. The activism community has leaders, figures like Nadia Murad, Greta Thunberg, and many others, individuals who are fighting the good fight, who are speaking truth to power, who are serving as catalysts of change, but they cannot fight this fight alone. You, the students of today and the leaders of tomorrow, must speak up, must amplify each other's voices, must insist upon change. Together, you have the power. Together, you will bring the change we want to see in this world. I humbly accept this award because I know how far I have to reach my own goals, not only specific to the Yazidi community or Iraq, or preventing sexual violence as a weapon, but toward all the challenges our world is facing today. I congratulate you all on the work that you have done so far, but I also challenge you to continue, because without your voice, without your efforts, we can become lost in the darkness. Thank you again for this opportunity. I am incredibly honored and humbled, and I congratulate you again on this achievement and graduation.
Thank you so much, Abid, for joining, and thank you so much for your speech, and congratulations again on the award. And I would like to pass it to Srijang now.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Before I pass it on to the next fellow, I would like to say a hello to everyone at Science Expo. They're joining us live here with the whole cohort. And hi, everyone. So nice to have you here. And please let us know if any of the other cohorts are joining together. Like to wave at you. Okay, yeah, we can see you guys on screen. Amazing. Hey. Okay, now for the final winner of the graduation. So I'm now passing on to Avis Anya Naubet. She is from the University, Lusaka Apex Medical University in Zambia.
Hi everyone,
Avis.
I'm Avis Anya Novith, the campus director from Lusaka Apex Medical University in Zambia. In addition to being the 2021 Millennium Fellow, I'm also the 2021 Scholar for the Pan-African Organization for Health Education and Research, where I assist in improving health awareness in African communities. I was also awarded the 2021 Mail and Guardian Top 200 Young South Africans for my research output on drug resistance in African communities. I have the great opportunity to introduce Dr. Vanessa Kerry, whose work inspires my own. She tackles the underuse of healthcare as a tool to address economic, social, and cultural disparities that define poor health globally. Many countries in Africa are considered low resource, but the question is, How can we make an active change and develop our own societies? Dr. Kerry thought quite similarly and founded Seed Global Health. Seed Global Health is a nonprofit that invests in strengthening health systems by training health professionals in areas that are resource limited. Living in Zambia made me acutely aware of the limitations we have on the ground and the benefits of programs like Dr. Kerry's. Her program has currently trained and implemented systems in Sierra Leone, Malawi, Uganda, and Zambia. My project on antimicrobial resistance has been highlighted as one of the top 10 global health threats and an impending crisis in the global health field. We both believe that global health threats can be tackled better and more efficiently, but only if they're understood in the local context. Dr. Kerry implements systems on the ground level that have the potential to make greater change. Her work has begun the decolonization of global health and inspiring local players such as myself to act on and better the communities we live in. On behalf of the Millennium Fellowship, Dr. Vanessa Kerry has been awarded the Global Generational Award. Congratulations to Dr. Kerry. Thank you.
It is a pleasure to join you all on the occasion of your graduation. Congratulations to all the Millennium Fellows. It is remarkable what you've accomplished already, and this is only the tip of the iceberg of what is to come. I want to thank all of you fellows and the MCN United Nations Academic Impact for including me today and for the remarkable honor of a Global Generation Award. This award is especially poignant in this moment and coming from this organization that represents the true energy and future leadership that we need in the world today. The world is currently facing profound, interrelated existential crises. The impact of climate change, the rising threat of pandemics, shifting political sands, and increased wealth consolidation. We cannot afford to see these as separate risks to humanity. They are deeply interrelated, and their impact only widens the inequity gaps that are growing today. Those already most vulnerable are hardest hit by the challenges we face now. We see this not only in who gets sick and who dies, who gets the vaccine, but who is most impacted by climate change, who loses their livelihood, and who is rendered stateless awaiting asylum. COVID-19 is a dramatic example. It's affected us all, but disproportionately, it continues to damage the health and well-being of low and middle-income countries and less resource populations here at home. It leads to increased food security and reduced access to healthcare worldwide. It's reversing progress in maternal and child mortality, as well as in infectious and chronic diseases. And the ongoing vaccine inequity has threatened the health and well-being and economic recovery of the entire world, but especially of low-income countries, where only 1% of the population has received a single vaccine dose, compared to over 51% in high-income countries. Further, the combination of COVID-19 and climate change now threatens to push another 150 million people into poverty. So here's the moment where we decide how our world is organized, who is included, and how we will move forward. We have an opportunity to look critically at our challenges and invest strategically for the well-being of all. We cannot build back just better. We must build back transformatively. I believe this deeply. And through the work we do at Seed Global Health, we are trying to help redefine our priorities through investing in health and the people who deliver it. The global community has chronically neglected one of the most critical foundations of health systems, the trained health workforce. This worsened in COVID with the loss of 115,000 healthcare workers. And since that time, we've had applause, but very little action. And before COVID, there was already a global shortage of healthcare workers, slated to be up to 18 million by the year 2030. And the world's insufficient number of trained health workers now hobbles our efforts to respond to crises like COVID or to protect essential services. We've already seen increases in maternal mortality, increases in tuberculosis deaths, and the disruption of immunization and other services. Yet we know strong health systems, founded on a robust and well-trained workforce, can undergird both pandemic preparedness, climate resilience, and also address the existing burdens of disease. It is a foundation for economic growth and recovery, and it provides a path to social inclusion. At SEED, we have worked to partner with governments to help fill those gaps. We've helped train a next and rising generation of healthcare providers, close to 28,000 now, who can not only provide care, but can train their successors and be agents of change themselves. We believe that through a combination of on-the-ground work and advocacy about the importance of health and how you link those two, it can be transformative. But we cannot rest only on the work we do on the ground, but we must engage in the critical debates of today and help push how we think and what we do. SEED is committed to help create a movement in which every government prioritizes human capacity as a critical, necessary, and leading lever in our overall well-being. Health workforce investments are a tide that lifts all boats. The front lines of our COVID response, vaccine delivery, better health, improved economies, social inclusion, and our community, national, and global security. We are committed to challenging global stakeholders and dysfunctional power dynamics, to adopt a new approach to health system strengthening, which includes mobilizing large-scale sustainable financing, lengthening timelines, prioritizing country-led planning, and building protection for health workforces and health workers today, and fully recognizing those often left outside the formal workforce, including women or community health workers. We are committed to challenging the status quo, but we cannot do this alone. We need your leadership, your creativity, your courage, and your deep understanding that the world can be different, better, more inclusive. Therefore, it is really moving to see such an unbelievable community of young people dedicated to change. You are going to be the engines, you already are, to help determine the values by which we build our society, create our jobs, raise our children, structure our politics and economy. And as you graduate, I encourage you all to keep global citizenship at the core of whatever work you choose. Your ultimate impact will not be determined as much by the exact choice of business you pursue. It could be private equity or public service, but it will be by the values you live and practice in that work that will make all the difference. Social impact can be created in any industry and in any position, and it's up to you to show that. You can choose to just nudge the status quo, or you can transcend it and ensure that investments are green, social businesses thrive, kids of all backgrounds have equal opportunities, citizens can vote no matter what their zip code, and health is valued. We cannot do this alone. We need your leadership, your creativity, your courage, and again, that your deep understanding can make this world better and different. I look forward to seeing you all define this movement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vanessa Kerry. And it was really so impactful for us to hear from you, especially because this year in the Millennium Fellowship, we have a huge number of fellows who are studying in medical sector. So those who are in that sector, please show your love to Dr. Vanessa Kerry in the chat. And the message that you shared with us was really very important. And I believe we all together can do it. So again, congratulations to all the Global Generation Award winners. And thank you so much for inspiring us with all of your work.
Great. So now actually, we would like to ask you a little question. So looking by you, I mean Millennium Fellows also, and MCN members to join in. So looking back at your experience since August, what would you say is your favorite memory with your Millennium Fellowship cohort members? So you can write that in the chat, or you could let us know on Twitter by tagging MCN partners. But go ahead, type out, think of all the memories that you had. What's your favorite one? We want to know. I think mine was probably when we were doing the sessions as a campus director. I really loved that experience personally. So let us know what is yours. And now I will pass on to Srijang. And
oh, thank you so much,
of course.
Vlada. And yeah, so as you keep on creating the impacts in your community, we also realize that we should care about the oceans too, because it is becoming really very important for us. So to shed light on our Millennium Ocean Prize, I would like to welcome with us here the 6th annual Ocean Prize winner, Mika Stacy, and with her, Gustavo. And we'd love to hear from what you have been doing and your latest work.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. I am Micaela Stase.
I am Gustavo.
And hi, we have been working on all this last year on our project, the giant manta rays, like a flagship species to fight plastic pollution. And it's been really amazing. We have had amazing encounters with manta rays, and we've been studying them to determine how much microplastic intake they are having in this population. So we think it's very important to share our work, to spread our word. So we made a short video to show you how all the work we've been doing this last year, and we hope you really like it.
The oceans, source of all life, are facing a terrible threat. Every year, millions and millions of tons of plastic waste end up in the sea. And believe it or not, it is all still there. Plastics in the oceans do not disappear. They break into tiny particles known as microplastics, so small that they can be easily ingested by countless of marine animals, from the smallest to the largest, seriously affecting their health and development, and compromising their survival and that of future generations. Faced with this scenario, a group of scientists, photographers, and explorers committed to the conservation of the oceans joined forces to fight against this serious problem, hand in hand with some very particular allies. Giant manta rays. Every year, large numbers of these charismatic giants arrive at Isla de la Plata, a small paradise in the coast of Ecuador, where they aggregate into one of the largest and most important populations in the region and in the world. This wonderful event offers a great opportunity to study and evidence the levels of microplastic intake in this endangered species, and allows us to better understand the serious effect that plastic pollution has on marine life and on who we depend on it. Manta rays play a crucial role to stop plastic pollution in the oceans. Will you join them?
Thank you so much for coming and doing your speech also, and thank you so much for sharing this amazing video. I love how you used charismatic. I don't know why, this is something I never thought of, as a description, but I absolutely loved it. So thank you so much, and thank you for sharing it with all of us too. And actually now we are going to have a very, very special remarks coming from an MCN advisor, which is Paul Polman. So from 2009 to 2019, he served as a CEO of Unilever, and he is now the CEO of Imagine, and has also served as a CDG advocate for the United Nations Secretary General. Paul's new book, which actually Sam peeked a little in the start, if you were attentive, you could have seen it, called Nat Positive, asks the fundamental question: is the world better off because your business is in it? He joined us now to share advice on how to build a career advancing the CDG in the private sector. So welcome, Paul, right now.
Well, hello, everybody. It's an absolute honor to be asked to address you today and celebrate your accomplishments as the Millennium Fellowship class of 2021. Congratulations on the tremendous achievement, particularly during what some call these crazy times. We simply need more of you. It's not an easy time to be a student, but you all have risen to the occasion and used the time to not only advance your own learnings, but also put yourself to the service of your communities. You are truly a global network of over 2,000 students in 30 countries, contributing over 200,000 hours to over 1,000 projects, advancing the Sustainable Development Goals. What a force, what an impact, what a multiplier. You are young, motivated, and energized. And yes, you are stepping up to solve some of the world's toughest challenges. Now that takes moral leadership and courage, some of the most important traits that you need to have as a leader. Many of you are now starting to consider your careers, and 75% of you, I understand, want to pursue careers in social impact. But I'm not so sure what that really means, as I believe that whatever we are going to do, we should strive to have the needed social impact. So what does it actually look like? Especially in a volatile world of runaway climate change, increasing inequality, and yes, eroding social cohesion. Now more than ever, we need broad, multidimensional thinkers and doers who tackle humanity's biggest challenges, possessing the level of empathy, compassion, humanity, and humility needed to succeed. Leaders who above all understand that they need to put the interest of others ahead of themselves, knowing that by doing so, they're better off themselves as well. Defending these basic human values of dignity and respect, compassion, and equity for all. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the decade of action, where we need transformative partnerships. In order to get there, we need the best of all: governments, NGOs, academics, the financial market, business. None of us can do it alone. Now, since my background is in the private sector, which is often the most overlooked for societally minded leaders, I'm going to speak about how you can make an impact tonight with a career in business. I've always believed that business should serve people and planet, and that the SDGs cannot be achieved without the help of business. Business needs the SDGs, and the SDGs need business as well, for its innovation, for its deploying of its many resources, for its financial capital, for its ingenuity, and yes, above all, for its people. The SDGs are probably the biggest business opportunity that we have in this century. As COVID has shown, there are no healthy people on an unhealthy planet. But what COVID has also pointed out and made us realize the enormous cost that we're paying for inaction, to the point that our cost of inaction is now higher than the cost of action. We've spent over $17 trillion in Europe and the US alone during COVID to save lives and livelihoods. The IMF estimates that $27 trillion in global GDP is lost this decade. Contrast this with the $3 to $5 trillion needed every year to implement the Sustainable Development Goals. When the cost of inaction is becoming higher than the cost of action, smart business understands that this is an enormous opportunity. Our challenge now is simply that we need to move at scale and speed. Successful companies understand that profits should come not from creating the world's problems, but actually from solving them. They are willing to take responsibility for the wider impact in society, intended or not. They understand the power of optimizing the return for all of their stakeholders, including the planet and future generations. And yes, they forge these deeper partnerships that we talked about to drive the more transformative changes. Above all, these companies understand that less bad simply isn't good enough anymore, and think increasingly in terms of restorative, reparative, and regenerative. That we call in our new book, Net Positive, How Courageous Companies Thrive by Giving More Than They Take. Net positive companies understand that they need to be the part of the solution, and they can answer that simple question: is the world better off because your business is in it? Yes or no? All of that requires courageous leadership. And that comes from a strong sense of purpose. Leaders who are trained in the Sustainable Development Goals, like you, can add a tremendous value to many of the businesses as they convert. And there are just simply 3 pieces of advice I want to leave you with as you think about the future and your careers. First one, seek out these net positive companies that are already moving or trying to move in the right directions. Seek them out either for employment or for putting your spendings and purchase opportunities. Secondly, if you're working for some of the companies that are trying to convert into that direction, speak up when you see promises not being met by clear actions. Too many companies still talk the talk instead of walking the walk. And Stephen Covey said it well in his book, 7 Habits, when he talked about that you're never able to talk yourself out of things you've behaved yourself into. It is now time for action, and the people in the companies need to speak up when that is not happening. I believe that every company now has a Greta Thunberg, and many of the CEOs are speaking up because otherwise employees are simply walking out. And thirdly and finally, drive these deeper, broader partnerships. Many coalitions are currently forming to bring the 3 sectors together and hold business accountable at an industry and at a country level. The 17 SDGs have an important role to play here in advancing the business environment. Whatever career you choose, the most important piece of advice I can give you is operate with passion, but that is really pursuing your own interest. But above all, be driven by purpose, which is indeed putting yourself to the service of something bigger than yourselves. Purposeful companies are increasingly shown to be more successful companies. For that, you have to find this wonderful intersection of what the world needs, what you're good at, and what you passionately enjoy doing, and obviously what you're capable of doing. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenges that we face, such as climate change or poverty or inequality or food security, the unemployment, the pandemics, and the list goes on, can at times seem overwhelming, but they are all resolvable. Indeed, they present opportunities to those willing to approach them in a different way, as you are already proving to do as Millennium Fellows. I want to thank you for what you're doing, and I wish you happiness and success in the future. Congratulations once more, and hopefully see you one day in person. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Paul, for sharing those remarks. Everyone, I could see in the chat, everyone just loved it. Everyone said that they loved the perspective, that they loved the words and everything. So thank you so much for letting us know, for sharing your thoughts. It's very important. So I love to see it. Yeah. And here comes the thank yous. That's just amazing. It moves so quickly. I love it. But now what we would like to do, as I think you remember that Srijang in the start, he said that we have so many talented fellows, and he is absolutely correct. Because now we have another creative piece by Donald G. So the stage is yours.
Hey, my name is Donald G, and I'm a Millennium Fellow here at Georgia Tech in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States. And I study civil engineering with a focus on sustainability, especially sustainable cities. But alongside civil engineering, I also really enjoy making comedy and musical comedy about topics that I find important. And last week I wrote this song about one of the main things that I learned throughout the Millennium Fellowship, which was that oftentimes sustainability action is a lot longer and more personal than one might expect. And it's not really about going out and changing others or trying to really be a hero, but more about changing myself. And so, yeah, this is a comedic approach to that idea. I hope you enjoy it. When I came to college, I wanted to change the world. Impatient, I put up paper flyers on how to end deforestation. I went vegan for a week, that's how it went. And I took a private jet to a climate change event. I bought 400 bumper stickers to put on a good face, but I had to buy an SUV for more advertising space. It gets 6 miles to the gallon full throttle. I've got a metal straw in my disposable water bottle. I really, really want to make a change. When I try to change the world, it looks the same. I found that I needed time by myself to change nothing but me. And now when I look around, I see the world changing gradually. One less turtle choking on a straw. One less iceberg about to thaw. One less polar bear that's going to drown. But I feel bad for the baby seal he's found. Cows fart out 4% of all greenhouse gases. At this point, we should just call them what rhymes with gases. I really, really want to make a change. And starting with my friends day by day. It's not always quick, it's not always fun, but I can see it there. We can change the earth, give it what it deserves, and show it that we care. Or at least if you don't care about the earth, please also recognize that it's in your own self-interest to be sustainable. 'Cause if you don't, your life will get harder economically and physically and emotionally and sustainability probably and every other way that it could go badly. I really, really want to make a change, and starting with my friends day by day. It's amazing what can happen when you're young and you have time. You can change the world by changing your own life, and I'll change mine. Thank you.
Wow, I've been just wowed. You can just look at the chat and it's just exploding with wows, loves, claps, and fire. This guy was on fire. Literally loved it. The performance, the lyrics, wow, amazing. And speaking of such hidden talents, like when I saw the chart, there was around 500 fellows mentioning about their hidden talents. So it was, I believe, very tough to select all of you. But I guess after the fellowship, maybe we have an after fellowship party with all the hidden talent people, and we can have a virtual conference on concert actually. But yeah, amazing, loving it. The power and the positivity, everything, so amazing. And that being said, let's take this opportunity to thank you the most important part of our own cohorts, the university itself, because without their constant support, it would have been really tough for us to continue our fellowship training process. So we are so much grateful for our universities around the whole world for supporting our fellows throughout this journey. And this was really encouraging that so many presidents and vice chancellors joined in today in this session. This is really encouraging for all of us. And now, we will hear from 3 leaders of our higher institutions, the Vice Chancellor of BRAC University, my university, Professor Vincent Chang, Vice Chancellor Rajiv Gandhi of Rajiv Gandhi National University of Law, Punjab, and the Chancellor of the University of California, Davis.
I'm Vincent Chang, Vice Chancellor and President of BRAC University in Dhaka, Bangladesh. This semester, BRAC University has 14 Millennium Fellows. Their initiatives are highly relevant to the UN SDGs. This is what I have done, ensuring the urban food supply chain, using artificial intelligence and machine learning for climate actions, assisting the transgender community in its professional development, helping the underprivileged children in their education, and providing faster responses during the COVID outbreak.
RACU response team has initially started with the project COVID-19 response team. Till now, we have handled 1,500 cases with focusing on SDG 3 and Principle 9 of UNAI. We respond when it is needed.
Project Climate Scope ensures resilience and effectiveness of climate actions. Through use of artificial intelligence and machine learning, we are optimistic about the future.
Shishu is aiming to empower vulnerable communities through professional resources. We are now working with the transgender community with a focus on SDG 8 and 10.
The main goal of our project is providing educational equipment to underprivileged children. We are currently working on SDG 4, providing quality education.
We are working with SDG 3, 13 and 11 for creating a new sustainable agriculture ecosystem for the future of the planet by converting every rooftops in the cities into urban farms and creating a traceable food supply chain.
I thank Break University Fellow. You have made a difference. I also thank Millennium Campus Network and the United Nations Academic Impact for your work on promoting undergraduate leadership for the SDGs. I congratulate the Millennium Fellowship class of 2021 for your graduation. Let's continue the good work. I believe this is the beginning of many good things. Thank you.
From RAC University to the world!
On behalf of the University of California, Davis, I'm pleased to congratulate the more than 2,000 global graduates of the United Nations Millennium Fellowship. I'm especially proud of our 22 UC Davis undergraduate students. UC Davis shares the Millennium Fellowship's commitment to taking action on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. In fact, we were among the first universities in the U.S. to complete a voluntary university review of our engagement with the SDGs. At UC Davis, we're also pursuing an ambitious goal that we call Global Education for All. We want to provide all of our students with global learning experiences that change their lives and our planet. We understand that students are not only the leaders of tomorrow, but are also key to advancing the Sustainable Development Goals today. Graduates, I wish you all success in your future endeavors. The world is waiting for you, so move forward with courage. You've gained the knowledge and skills necessary to make an impact. Through your fellowship projects, you're helping to change our world for the better. Again, congratulations to all the UN Millennium Fellows, and best wishes from all of us at UC Davis.
Millennium Fellows, dear organizers of the Millennium Campus Network and the United Nations Academic Impact. As the Dean of the Undergraduate College of Sciences Po Paris, I'm extremely pleased to participate today in this graduation ceremony. This is the 7th year that students around the globe are joining this initiative, preparing themselves as future leaders with a specific awareness and attention to the common sustainable goals. I have been informed that the Millennium Fellowship class of 2021 drew more than 25,000 applicants from more than 2,200 universities. This is truly impressive and indeed very good news, attesting to the commitment of youth everywhere. It gives me even greater pleasure to be here today to congratulate all these initiatives and encourage the students to continue. It is also the 2nd consecutive year that Sciences Po students have been selected to join the Millennium Fellows, and the groups of students of 2021 are even more numerous than last year. The 26 Millennium Fellows come from the same campus of Sciences Po, the Europe-Asia campus in the port city of Le Havre. I would like now to offer them my warm congratulations and express my pride to be the dean of such promising young women and young men. Because there are too many for me to mention all of their names, let me simply say a few words about 2 delegates of the group, Malavika Kannan and Arshvardhan Zaveri. Malavika is an astonishing young woman, an excellent student. She's very active in campus students' life and is also a singer in one of the campus bands. Arshvardan is also very well known on campus, always ready to take part in activities. Millennium Fellows are taking discrimination, climate change, and inequities around the world. At Sciences Po, we support all the initiatives in line with these goals, and we encourage our students to apply to programs such as the Millennium Fellowship. But we also have a special module which is part of the bachelor degree. It's called the Civic Learning Program, or le Parcours Civique in French. And through a 3-year-long program, students are expected to learn and understand citizenship and social responsibility through an experience of engagement out in the field. This service mission was created in response to a specific educational objective to train students through action. And this is where we join efforts with the Millennium Fellowship. Again, all my congratulations to the Millennium Fellows from Sciences Po and also from the 135 other campuses whose students are helping us build a better world. Thank you very, very much. Merci beaucoup.
At the outset, I wish to congratulate all the Millennium Fellows from the Millennium Fellowship class of 2021 for their honest and perceptible effort that they are contributing towards creating a change in the community. The Millennium Fellowship has provided a magnificent opportunity to 9 of our students, along with 2,000 plus cohort, to come forward, visualize, plan and execute constructive maneuvers in looking for solutions and in paving the way for the implementation of these solutions globally. Our student, Ms. Komal and Mr. Naman, along with 7 other students, are working very diligently on some of the projects like redefining education, overconsumption, project wielding, always in and never out. I'm sure that the fellowship has not only provided our students to work for the solutions in the community towards sustainable goals like reduced inequalities, hunger, climate action, and also gender inequality, etc. I'm sure that their involvement would greatly benefit the society as such, and I congratulate the organizers, the Millennium Campus Network and the United Nations Academic Impact for creating this platform. These young intellectuals can learn and disseminate their knowledge for creating a better world and for establishing a more glorious tomorrow.
Greetings. I'm Dr. Charles White, president of Salisbury University, which is located in Maryland in the United States. I am proud to congratulate all recipients of the United Nations Millennium Fellowship, and especially those from Salisbury University, on this exciting opportunity. Last year, 13 Salisbury students earned this competitive award. This year, SU students again set their minds to making a difference in the world, and the passion and commitment of 16 of them has been recognized. Our students will be working on projects related to climate action, environmental sustainability, and health literacy, including creating hope boxes for vulnerable community members. My hope is that all of you will improve the lives of others through your projects. You will connect with people, organizations, and opportunities that help you to make a better tomorrow for everyone. Some of you will change the world in fundamental ways, but even the smallest of actions can truly make a difference. From Salisbury University, I wish you the best.
So I would like to also thank everyone for their messages. Thank you, the Dean at Science Po and the President of Salisbury University in US and Professor Pai Pai in India. Thank you all so much for sharing these wonderful and amazing messages with all our fellows. And I saw there was so much messages about Srijang being in the video. Everyone loved that. Everyone seeing you everywhere. So that was good. It was Srijang, in fact, because people were asking. That was him. So now, actually, on such note, as campus director, we would like to remind you that you still have 2 submissions to fill in that are due November 13th. So those are the exit survey and then the project report. So just make sure that you do that. So that's one of the things you got to do. But now I'm passing it to Srijang.
Oh, thank you, Vlada. And yeah, we're almost there. Wow, 6 sessions, amazing SDG conversation. As Himmat was mentioning, we made so many friends. Like I met Himmat and I met Shreya and lots more, like even Vlada. Like we're doing a podcast together now for the Millennium Campus Network. So this has been a wonderful journey together, meeting all of you. And wow, truly honored to be here tonight with everyone. And a huge shout out to my cohort for being such an amazing cohort. And special thanks to my Vice Chancellor as well, because in the beginning, the Vice Chancellor was saying about creating an MC and leadership camp academy. And we also got the chance to talk with our Vice Chancellor, and he agreed to create a social impact lab in our university, which is huge for us. So yeah, I just thought to share it. This would be the best platform to share the news. And yep, so as we near the end, Millennium Fellows, now join us in watching this incredible message of support from the university leaders, a slideshow featuring so many of your faces, and a video of Millennium Fellows in action. Once again, congratulations to all of you for becoming and graduating as a Millennium Fellow.